On a crowded street, a barefoot boy steadied a trembling baby, their small hands locked as if the world depended on balance. The baby's uncertain step drew silence from traffic, time slowing as fear and hope collided in that fragile moment. Behind them, a wheelchair stood abandoned, hinting at pain endured quietly long before anyone noticed this crossing. The boy's eyes stayed focused, carrying a maturity earned too early, guarding the baby like a promise he refused to break. Dust clung to their skin as the baby leaned forward, trusting completely, unaware of danger surrounding such innocence. A sharply dressed man dropped to his knees nearby, shock flooding his face as a memory he buried clawed back alive. His hands gripped his head, breath shaking, realizing this scene was tied to a choice he once ran from. The street held its breath, strangers frozen, sensing something far bigger than an accident unfolding between them. The baby wobbled again, and the boy tightened his grip, choosing courage without understanding its cost. Tears welled in the man's eyes as guilt and recognition struck harder than any punishment he had escaped. That single step carried years of hunger, abandonment, and responsibility pressed into two tiny footprints, and in that suspended moment, 3 lives edged toward a truth none of them were ready to face. The baby's foot touched the ground again, and the sound felt louder than traffic, sharper than the man's broken breath. The boy shifted his stance, blocking the baby from rushing vehicles, instinctively placing himself between danger and hope. The wheelchair's empty seat caught the man's eye, unlocking a memory he had forced into silence for years. His suit felt suddenly heavy, as if wealth could not shield him from the weight of what he once abandoned. People nearby sensed tension but did not move, unsure whether they were witnessing help, tragedy, or something deeply personal. The baby giggled softly, unaware of the fear gripping everyone watching, trusting the hands that held him steady. The boy whispered encouragement, words shaped by survival, not childhood, urging the baby forward with calm strength. The man's vision blurred as he recognized a scar on the boy's arm, one he remembered from a life erased. His knees trembled, guilt crushing him harder than regret ever had, forcing him to confront a past unpaid. The air thickened with waiting, as if the street itself demanded an answer before allowing time to move again. The baby leaned forward once more, a step away from falling or standing, balance hanging on fragile trust. And in that breathless pause, the man realized fate had placed him back where he once walked away. The boy's grip tightened slightly, not from fear, but from a responsibility learned too early on unforgiving streets. The baby swayed, then steadied, eyes bright with trust that had never once questioned the hands guiding him. A horn blared nearby, snapping the crowd's nerves, yet the boy never looked away from the child he guarded. The man's chest tightened as he noticed how naturally the boy shielded the baby, like a role rehearsed by fate. Dust and sunlight mixed in the air, turning the moment surreal, as if the city itself was holding its breath. The wheelchair's shadow stretched across the road, reminding him of a promise broken the day he chose comfort. His mouth opened to speak, but no words came, only regret rising faster than courage could catch it. The boy sensed eyes on him, glanced up briefly, and met a stare filled with shock, guilt, and recognition. For a second, their worlds collided, past and present locking together in a silence heavier than noise. The baby laughed again, tiny fingers curling tighter, unaware his steps were reopening wounds long sealed shut. The man felt tears spill freely, realizing some chances never disappear. They only wait in unexpected forms. And as the boy guided the baby forward, destiny edged closer, preparing to demand its price from them all. The man staggered closer, each step heavy as the scene before him aligned perfectly with a memory he never escaped. Years ago, a hospital corridor smelled the same, where he left a wheelchair behind and chose silence over responsibility. The boy's worn clothes mirrored a childhood he once promised to protect, before fear taught him how to disappear. Traffic noises faded again, replaced by the pounding of his heart, louder than guilt, yet powerless against it. The baby stumbled, almost falling, and the boy caught him instantly, proving love does not wait for permission. That single save shattered the man's denial, revealing what true strength had looked like all along. He saw himself reflected not in the baby, but in the boy, forced to grow without mercy. A stranger's whisper cut the air, asking whose children they were, but the answer burned only inside him. The wheelchair rolled slightly in the wind, a silent witness refusing to stay forgotten any longer. The man reached out instinctively, then froze, knowing some touches require truth before they are earned. The boy felt the tension shift, sensing danger of another kind, one that did not come from the road. And in that charged silence, the past stood fully awake, demanding to be claimed or faced forever. The man finally spoke, his voice unsteady, calling the boy by a name only one person in the world remembered. The boy stiffened instantly, shock flashing across his face as the past surfaced through a word he never heard aloud. The baby clutched tighter, sensing danger without understanding, tiny fingers digging into the boy's worn skin. Crowds murmured now, tension spreading, curiosity mixing with the fear of witnessing something too real. The man confessed in fragments, choices made in weakness, a wheelchair left behind, promises buried under excuses. The boy's jaw tightened, years of hunger and silence burning behind his eyes like restrained fire. He wanted to scream, to run, to deny the truth reaching for him through a stranger's tears. The baby stumbled again, and instinct won, the boy steadying him before anger could take control. That simple act shattered the man completely, proving love had survived where he had failed utterly. Tears fell freely as he dropped to the ground, surrendering pride he had protected for far too long. The boy stood torn between rage and responsibility, realizing some truths arrive when escape is no longer possible. And in that fragile moment, the baby took a full step forward, forcing the past to face the future. The baby stood on his own at last, wobbling proudly, while the street erupted into quiet gasps and softened breaths. The boy loosened his grip slowly, realizing strength sometimes means trusting the world after surviving its cruelty. The man rose shakily, eyes lowered, knowing forgiveness is not claimed by words, but earned through lifetime actions. He reached for the wheelchair, not to escape shame, but to accept the responsibility he once abandoned. The crowd dispersed gently, sensing the moment no longer belonged to strangers, but to wounds learning to breathe. The baby smiled freely, unaware he had united broken paths with nothing more than an honest step forward. The boy looked ahead, not back, choosing growth over bitterness, despite scars the world had gifted him early. The man followed behind them, silent, humbled, ready to walk slower, to finally walk right. True courage is not leaving when things break, but staying when repair demands everything you avoided. Abandoned responsibilities do not vanish. They wait patiently for the day truth forces reunion. Innocence often leads where guilt is afraid to follow, showing strength without needing words. The smallest step taken honestly can rewrite destinies built on years of silence.